Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from around the world. We thank you, those of you who are staying engaged and you are staying informed about the situation that is happening in our country. Many of us South Sudanese, all of us, we are patriots. We love our country. We love the Republic of South Sudan. Our people made enormous sacrifices for this country to exist on this world as a nation. And as such, it is a sacred duty to all of us to make sure that this country is protected, that this country remains free, that this country can still see brighter days, that the people of South Sudan may hope and may dream for a better future in the Republic of South Sudan. Those of you who are tuning in, I want to start by encouraging you to please share the video, share the link, share it on WhatsApp, share it on groups. Whatever way, please share it so that the people of South Sudan can have access to this conversation. These are very important moments for our nation. They're very important moment for our republic. And those of you who are also watching, I want to encourage you by also being engaged in this conversation. It's a two-way conversation. It's not just only me who is talking. I'm talking, but I also want to encourage you to also be talking. So please write comments, share the video, whether you agree with us or you don't agree with us. We want to encourage you to make sure that your voice is heard. It's very important. That is the essence of a democracy. Democracy exists because people are speaking up, people are staying engaged, people are interacting with one another. We want to make sure that our people are informed and that you as people of South Sudan are informed of the situation that is happening across the country. So please share the video, send it to WhatsApp groups, send it to Facebook groups, share it in whatever way that you can share it, because that is very essential. The show we have today is very, very important. In fact, every single show that we are going to be doing going forward is extremely important because we are concerned about our country. We have been waiting for the leaders of South Sudan to get their acts together and change the situation that the people of South Sudan have been subjected to. But these leaders are only selfish, they're interested in themselves, they're interested about making money, and they're using whatever means necessary to make sure that they hold on to power, including by killing the people of South Sudan, by dividing the people of South Sudan, by creating all kinds of ways that people of South Sudan will be consumed by local issues, local division, so that no one pays attention to how much they are destroying the country. So we want you as people of South Sudan to be engaged, to remain informed about what is happening in our country, to do research, to listen to these kinds of conversations. We have to be able to create awareness, public awareness, starting whether we do it online or wherever, we got to do it because you know the situation in the country. Right now, there are a lot of political groups in the country, in the Republic of South Sudan, but you don't see anybody doing rallies. It's not because people are not interested in doing rallies, but it's because there is no freedom in the Republic of South Sudan. That we have a regime that is a dictatorship, authoritarian regime that is using violence, inflicting violence on the people of South Sudan so that they can loot the country. So please share the video, make sure that people are informed, write a comment, whether you agree with us or you disagree with us. We encourage you, write your comment so that you can be informed. There are people here who are aware of what is happening in South Sudan. So those of you who are ignorant or for whatever reason do not want to face the reality for what it is, yes, write your comment so that others, your fellow citizens of South Sudan, who truly understand the grave nature of the suffering to which the people of South Sudan have been subjected, can also help to inform you so that you come to understand what is happening in this country and why many South Sudanese people are very angry about what is happening in the Republic of South Sudan. So yes, write your comment. You disagree with us, write it. You agree with us, write it. If you have something that you want to add, write it, because we want to create a culture of informed citizenry. That is the essence of what we are trying to do here. So please share the video, encourage others to join. This is very important. Kule ambejam both tong monjang kujatong English. Ku we junubin we ka bagay yok video kene luwe share. Luwe share forum e koi luwe agree gonna walk bake. Koi che luwe agree gonna walk bake. Walk or book big ping Yongulo road, benang debate, because by the tea, fi Junuba Sudan, alwele chiko be ajam. Alwele because you are psychopaths. Brana ben ku ekire Louis phrase. So wokor buku na buku ware, because ajam. Because Louis agree kene kir, abikel well, yongu ke Louis agree kene yen. Yongu yike yokelo kir, Louis Junuba Sudan, konyen bay. Abikel le wok, wokoi win che Louis agree kene yen, koi wijen chen bikir bijal. Abuke alwel, yongu reason ye wo elwe ranken ajal. Chena go by a gola twing. That is the nature of a debate. That is the nature of an informed society. Na chiro liu loy fi Junuba Sudan, ka loy ku online. Pinkin happen technology. Kwanang other tools chika created because karo da inform. So kule ambejam both tong monjang ku jatong English. Now the main point that I want to talk about today, I want to talk about the need for the people of South Sudan to shun the politics of tribalism, the politics of regionalism, and the politics of sectarianism. You may wonder, why do I want to talk about this? But for those of you who are informed, who are aware of the situation in South Sudan, you know exactly why I'm talking about this. Our country for a very long time has been divided along tribal lines. This is not a new thing. It has been happening even when we were in the bush. When political leaders of South Sudan want to get support, they find ways to divide the people of South Sudan so that they can get some element of the people to support them, so that others are turned against each other, people are armed, and then people kill each other. This is done along tribes, this is done along regions, and even within the same region, this is done across clan. All of these are tools that are used by leaders to divide the people of South Sudan. Now, the politics of division, it was not invented by the leaders of South Sudan. It wasn't Kiir that invented it, or any of the leaders that came before him, those of John Garang or anyone. They did not invent tribalism. They did not invent division. This has been happening since the history of mankind. Across the world, leaders that want to hang on to power, they have found ways to divide society so that citizens are not united. Because when citizens are united, they are very strong. And there is no political leader that can stand in front of them and create chaos or drill the society the way that the society of South Sudan has been drilled presently. So for them to do that, they create a way to divide the people so that the people are turned to either or, for or against, us, them. That is the nature of how leaders across the history and across time had been using division. And this is what is keeping this regime in power today. There are people that say this is a Dinka government. We have heard that. And we have seen people being attacked across South Sudan because they are Dinka. Because Salva Kiir, he's a Dinka. There is no way we can deny that. I myself am a Dinka. We come from the same community. But I and Salva Kiir disagree. I am opposed to his regime. And I'm not the only one. I'm not the first person who is opposed to this regime. If you go back, even before the independence of South Sudan, there were so many other Dinka people that were opposed to the leadership of Salva Kiir. This has been the case. It's not only those who are non-Dinka that has been opposing this regime. Now, of course, I cannot deny the fact that Salva Kiir has been using tribalism, rallying up Dinka to come and say, our leadership is being taken. All of you remember in 2013, when he manufactured the civil war and divide the people of South Sudan and try to blame it on Dr. Riek Machar, that Dr. Riek Machar was doing a coup d'etat. It turned out that there was no coup d'etat. But what did he do? He organized the militias to attack Nuer civilians in Juba to kill them so that the people are purely divided on tribal line. So that the Dinka people will feel the only way they can be safe and be protected is to rally behind the president. And so that the Nuer people, the only way in which they can be protected is to rally behind Dr. Riek. That is the nature of what I'm talking about. That is the nature of division that we are talking about. But we know that this regime is not there to serve the interests of Dinka. It's not there to even serve the interests of Barghazal. Now, when someone like me criticizes President Kiir, as I have been doing over the last several years, people will go and say, the reason he criticized the president is because he's not from Barghazal, he's from Bor. That he's from Bor. That is the reason why he criticized the president. My people, I want to address this issue very clearly. We are not here to talk about the issues of tribe. We are looking at the performance of this regime. This regime is not doing anything that is protecting the interests of Dinka people. This regime is only interested in its own narrow interests. And what are these narrow interests? Power, money, resources. That is what they're interested in. What have they done in the Dinka land that shows that this regime is truly serving the interests of the Dinka people? Have you seen anything that it has done? In fact, if you look from the very beginning, since the independence, people that have suffered at the hand of Salva Kiir have included all the people of South Sudan, including Dinka. When I was advisor at the national security, when the national security was established, among the first that were arrested, that were detained at the Blue House, was a gentleman called Dengdit Ayok. Many of you know Dengdit Ayok. Dengdit Ayok actually comes from Warab State. He comes from Gogrial. He comes from Kwanya Ayok. If you know Kwanya Ayok, that is where he comes from. He was arrested. Why was he arrested? He was simply expressing his opinion when the daughter of the president married an Ethiopian guy. You remember this very well in 2011. Dengdit wrote an opinion in a newspaper. This was the newspaper, he wrote on a daily newspaper, I think it was the Citizen newspaper, the one of Nyal Bol. And he wrote an article called Nyanabeng. And he was expressing how much he was disgusted that the daughter of the president of the Republic of South Sudan was marrying a foreigner. What happened? The guy was immediately detained at the Blue House. He was arrested. He was put in the basement. He suffered. In fact, when I heard about what was going on with him, I mobilized whatever I could do within and make sure that he was arrested. He was a Dinka. You also remember Isaiah Abraham. Isaiah Abraham was a Dinka, and he was criticizing President Kiir. In fact, he was more sympathetic to the arguments that Dr. Riek Machar was putting on the table. What happened to him? He was assassinated and he was killed. So I want to make sure that you, the people of South Sudan, understand that the situation we are in is a situation in which the leaders are manipulating us, and they are using tribalism to manipulate us. They are using regionalism to manipulate us. They are using clanism to manipulate us, so that the people of South Sudan are confused, that the people of South Sudan kill themselves, and they, the leaders, can do whatever they want and kill the people of South Sudan. So I want to be very clear that we have to forget this idea of tribalism. If we stick to tribalism and we see each other as tribes, we will not be able to help our people. We will not be able to secure our future. We will have these leaders that will continue to prey on us, and South Sudan will remain behind. Our resources will be looted. Our country will be looted the way that it has been looted today. Now, that is on the issue of tribalism. And by the way, let me also not forget Georgie Athor. You remember Georgie Athor. Georgie Athor was one of the most brilliant, one of the most bravest military leaders that the Republic of South Sudan has ever seen. During the war, Georgie Athor, he won so many battles. In fact, if you compare his record in the military achievement with Salva Kiir, they don't even compare. Georgie Athor was a very strong officer, but he was assassinated. He was killed. Why was he killed? Because he was opposed to the regime of Salva Kiir and the leadership of Kwalmanyang in Jonglei State. That was the reality. Georgie Athor ran for the governor of Jonglei State. The election was rigged, and then when he was upset and he rebelled, he was killed. In fact, he was killed in a cold blood. He was basically sold to Uganda, killed by Museveni in Uganda, and then now the body was handed over to South Sudanese people. They just brought him across the border, and he said, oh, well, we kill him, that he was killed in action. The same way later, Walla Agok was to be killed, captured, killed, assassinated, and then claiming that he was killed in action. Georgie Athor was a Dinka. In fact, up to today, songs are being composed about his bravery, what he did during the liberation struggle. So you cannot come and say, this is a Dinka government. This is actually what Salva Kiir won, because he won now the Dinka people to be blamed for his failure, so that all the Dinka people will not see that there is a way out, so that the Dinka people will feel vulnerable, that the only way that they can be safe, the only way they can be protected is for them to be loyal to Salva Kiir. So I want you, my people, to take this thing away from your mind. This regime is there to finish the people of South Sudan. It doesn't care whether you are a Dinka, whether you are Nuer, whether you Lukbara, you are whatever tribe, it doesn't care. It just wants resources. It wants to eat. It wants to divide us so that we don't focus. Because what is politics? Politics is when citizens come together and act in concert, when they unite. Read Hannah Arendt. It was a German philosopher. He wrote a lot about the nature of politics. What is the difference between politics and violence? Politics is about unity. When people come together and they act together, that is politics. And what failed leaders like Salva Kiir do is to create divisions so that citizens cannot have any possibility whatsoever of coming together and acting in concert. So we have to be wise and we have to overcome. And the only way we overcome this is through unity. That is on tribalism. Now let me go to regionalism. People have been criticizing me that the reason why Peter Biar is criticizing Salva Kiir is because he's from Bor, that he's not from Barghazal, that he doesn't like our leader in Barghazal. I want to make this very clear. I'm not the only one who is upset with this regime. Many of you who have been following us, you have seen that a few months ago, we gathered here in Washington, D.C., and we formed an alliance called the Coalition for Restoration of Democracy, CORD. This was a gathering of about 6 different political entities that came together to build a common front so that they can bring about a better future of South Sudan. Revive South Sudan Party that I represented was part of it. The Common People Alliance that was represented by Garang Kwad. Many of you from Northern Barghazal, you know who Garang Kwad is. He's a member of the Red Army, is someone that went to war, he fought for this liberation of this country. He served in the government of Northern Barghazal as a Secretary General for 5 years. 5 years. He's from Northern Barghazal, from Awil. We came together. There was also the United Citizen for Change. United Citizen for Change, as you know very well, is headed by Dengi Dayok. I mentioned to you before, Dengi Dayok is from Werap, is from Gogrial, is from Kwanya Ayok, and it has also in it John Kurumayol. John Kurumayol is from Northern Barghazal, is from Awil. We came together. And there was also the Red Army of South Sudan. Red Army of South Sudan was represented by Deng Maigatem, Deng Columbus. Deng Columbus is from Werap State, is from Twitch Mayadit. We came together as South Sudanese. And then we had also Goy Joyul, who was a former commissioner of Akobo and the Secretary General of Kidwang Movement. He's a Nuer from Jonglei State. He came. We had Suzanne Jambo. Suzanne Jambo, you know very well, from Equatoria. We came as South Sudanese, united to bring about a better future for South Sudan. So you cannot go and say that this is because Salva Kiir is from Barghazal. The leadership of Salva Kiir, everybody have suffered in it. Whether you are from Barghazal, you are from Upper Nile, you are from Equatoria, you have suffered in this leadership. When we were in Blue House, majority of people that were detained there were from Barghazal. Majority of people that were killed, every time we talk about all these crimes that were committed in the Blue House, the people that were killed the most were from Barghazal. First, there were the so-called supporters of Paul Malong Awan, right? And by being a supporter of Paul Malong, it wasn't actually because you support Paul Malong. This was a bunch of Awil sons that were rounded up and brought to Blue House. And every night, people are taken out at the Blue House, taken to Luri. They are cut to pieces with machetes. Their bodies are burned. These are sons of Awil. And by the way, this thing is public. Ask anybody from a Will community. They know. Because, you know, one of the soldiers who was part of the team that was killing these people, he was also a Dinka guy. Dinka guy from Yerul. This son of from Yerul, he became disgusted that every single day they were made to kill their own fellow citizen. So you know what he did? He went and bought an iPhone. And they went ahead, they were given orders. They took about 20 guys, mostly from a will, that they are supporters of Paul Malong. These people were taken to Luri. They hacked them to pieces. They burned them. But you know what he did? Every time he took the pictures, recorded videos in this iPhone. After he finished, he now took the iPhone to the leader of a Will community, Kualatian. And if I'm lying, ask Kualatian Mawien. This was taken to Kualatian. So the Will community now, when they saw the videos of what was happening, the pictures, they went and confronted President Kiir. This is the truth. This is the reality of what happened inside there. This was son of a Will. If Kiir was a leader and he was protecting Barghazal, would he be killing people from a Will? Would he be killing them? Okay, someone will say, well, maybe because a Will is separate. Okay, this is for Warab State. Warab State. I told you last time a story of what happened inside the prison. There was a guy called Deng Deng. This was a national security officer. He was arrested by shooting another officer in Terekeka, an officer from Tony, I understand. He killed the guy and then he was brought to Blue House and detained. This Deng Deng actually come from a One Chan community. And initially he was brainwashed. He had this idea that this is Akuma Batana. This is our regime. This is our leader. That Salva Kiir is our leader. So he was brought, and initially they were using him as a spy, to spy on us. Because when we were in the prison, we will talk our head out. We will be very upset. We will talk about how we need to overthrow this regime. So he was brought there as a spy to spy on us. But as we stay in the Blue House, the situation worsened for all of us. And you know, Blue House is a place where people are not visited. Your relatives are not even allowed to come and see you. You know, if you get sick, you are not taken to a hospital. Whatever happened to you, they don't care. There's no food that is brought from outside. So he stayed with us, and then eventually, this guy, he got sick. We reported it to the security guards that this young man was sick. He had malaria and diarrhea, and we were afraid that this guy was going to die. Right? We said this guy may die, and we reported it. They didn't care. This was their guy from a One who thought that this is his leadership. This is a leader. This government is their government. He got sick. We tried to report him. Nobody was caring about him. You know what happened? The guy died. And then, here is the funny part. After the guy died, instead of coming to take the body, to take him so that the body is buried, they kept the body with us in the cell for 3 days. 3 days. This is the guy from a One. Yeah? He was talking about how this is their government, their leadership. The body began smelling. And you know why they kept him there for 3 days? So that they could terrorize us. That was the intention. They owned the son, the so-called son of a One Chan, who was claiming that this is their leadership. They kept the body there for 3 days. So can you come and tell us this is our leadership from a One or from Gogrial? Is it doing anything to protect you? Is it doing anything to improve your life? Every one of you is seen as a tool. When this Matianganyor was mobilized and it was taken to go and fight the White Army, what happened to them? Many of them died. You know very well. Many of them died. Those who did not die, that were wounded, is anybody taking care of them now as we speak in South Sudan? Is anyone taking care of them? So you cannot come and every time allow the supporters of the regime to claim that we are the Barghazal or we are the Warab or we are the Awan. This regime does not care. I told you also last time. The last time, the way that the name of a Wanichan community is being used to steal the money. You know very well the so-called Akun International Airport. That is the project that is being led by those of Hussein, the Vice President, Abdel Baghi Ayi. This airport, $50 million has been released already. If you go now to a One, there is a place called Lil Majak. This is where the so-called airport was to be built. Right now, this place is just a pool where children and birds are bathing in it. There is no airport that is being done there. And the money is being used in the name of a One community for individuals around Salva Kiir. And by the way, these individuals, they come from everywhere. They don't even come from a one community. Yes, there are elements from a one community that are benefiting, but these individuals, they have people from Upper Nile. You have Tutkeo. Is Tutkeo from a one-chan community? He's eating. These are the people eating the money. Bolmil, you know very well. Bolmil is he from a one-chan community? These are the group eating. Those are Martin Elia. They come from everywhere, everywhere. And they're using the name of the community. So the community only become relevant when they want to use you, when they want you to go and fight their wars. That is when now they say, oh, we are Baragazal or we are a one. So I want you, my people, to understand. This regime is not a regime that care about you. Whether you come from the same village as the president, you come from the same state, you come from the same region or the same tribe, it does not care about you. I mentioned last time the situation that is happening in Upper Nile at the oil fields. You see what is happening. The entire community is being wiped out. Pollution is happening, has been happening since 1997 when the Bashir government started exporting the oil. Since 1997, that is when this thing has been happening. Yeah? Has there ever been a single cleanup that has been done? And every time you know that the pipeline will have issues and then it will leak, and it will leak for days, and they will not be able to find out where the leakage is happening. And then what happened afterwards? The pollution, the crude oil will mix with the land, with the water, and it will start creating all kinds of problems for the people there. If you say we are Dinka, do they care about you? They only care about the oil. They don't care about the lives of the people that are in the oil fields. Go to Paloch and see with your own eyes. Children are being born with all kinds of deformities. Right now, if you go everywhere in South Sudan, as I said last time, communities are being armed so that they can kill one another, even within Warab state. Where do they get this gun? It's the same element from the regime that give them this gun, so that they can go and kill each other and finish each other. And then now they come and say, well, this is our government, our government. Our government. Your government where? Is a government that only think of you when they want to use you as a tool. Huh? Is that what you want to become? You are a tool that is only used. And when you are no longer useful, you are dumb. Look at all the political leaders that used to back Salva Kiir. What has happened to them? Those of Paul Malonga one, gone. Huh? Those of Tilari Ringdeng, dead. Where are they? Those political leaders that used to back up this regime. Do you think Kiir care about any of you? Even the national security now, which is terrorizing the people of South Sudan, soon Akolokul will find out the same way that the leaders that came before him have found out. This is a man that does not care. As long as he remains in that chair, that is it. He doesn't care what he used, who he used. This guy does not care at all. So I want you people to wise up and think about your future. Think about the future of this nation. Think about the sacrifices it has taken for this country called Republic of South Sudan to be liberated. It was liberated so that it become the land of the South Sudanese people, so that the children of South Sudan, people that are now here, those who are yet to come, may prosper in this land and grow to become as large as the mighty oak trees. That was the reason why our ancestors fought. That is why our liberators fought. But it was not so that Salva Kiir will become a king of South Sudan and therefore loot the resources of South Sudan and use them the way that he wants. And when people criticize him, he will come now and use this fake argument of division to say, well, it's because that guy is from that other clan, it's because that guy is from other region, it's because this guy is a Nuer, that is why I'm being criticized because he's a Nuer. No, he's being criticized because he has failed the Republic of South Sudan. Look at what is happening with poverty in the country. No one can even farm. Just if you want to be a farmer and you want to go and stay in your village and farm, you cannot farm. Why? Because of insecurity. You cannot farm. If you go to the farm, you will be shot in your farm. If you want to go and keep your cattle so that you just become a normal cattle keeper, what happens to you? Your cattle are raided, you are killed, your cattle is taken. You have ever seen the regime caring about what is happening with the cattle? But every time when there is a rumor of coup, all the big guns in the country are brought out to protect the government. So what is the government here? Is it the seat of Salva Kiir? That is what is important? And our security forces accept themselves to be used as tool for all this long. Ya Jama, we have to wake up. And waking up starts in the mind. Freedom is not when your hand has been tied and you are locked up. Freedom is in the mind. Even when I was in the Blue House, when I was in that solitary confinement, I was a free man. Why? Because my mind was free. You cannot allow your mind to be locked up so that somebody control your mind and use nonsense argument of tribalism and regionalism. You cannot accept that. So my people, I want to make that clear so that you people understand. We koi kwa. I take a ping. I lwe la kuma kena akuma jiang. Akuma kena cha akuma jiang. I ngeki very well ye yinga gum akuma kane. Atiran tuk ran tunga win rare manekala hanom ye monjang kayete no. Ejola lwe wochiko well nyin gabail ke Junuba Sudan. Wochiko well nyin bay ko ke Africa. Wochiko well nyin pinom. Be alwe la akuma kena akuma jiang. Akuma jiang. Akuma kena yonguji akuma lwe jiang mane. Abe jiang ke jonge kan ke akuma den. Nenge chi akuma kan chi loy. Ke jo lwe we jiang. To. Ku ka ngeke min wanen goli ye tere ne pane ko ye ke chi to the largest I walk. Wo chi gum. Ku wo gum chan bangu yendi wo go gum ache wo go chi gum chan be kir ma yade be ben ku be bai be jo tupe. Ku er jene jo tupe kan. Ache na ki ter wo ken. A ter ku chana go ai men Junuba Sudan go nom law. Ago Junuba Sudan go ya pana won be ko ke be ka chuot. Enge reason e ter yen. Ku wan chene kire ke ne be wo chuk. Koi tuenge ke chebe gol bi kene bilwel kene che yi ai monjeng angai ki Georgia ator ding chebela no wana will Uganda ile lwel ka anega action ku ke ki jura na juru Museveni lawu nak ku jela bay bugu je gobde je chwere Junuba Sudan kwer chi kwer wane wala go e monjeng kwera ko lwel ten wo monjeng akumada acha kumada yenki na bugu lugu criticize kir kiman lugu criticize gele lwer wala ki reason ni biar ye ke kir man e because kir e mon bargazal ku biar e mon bor ye wan ri wo gada kedang Washington DC den wan mer wo wonim ku lugu ke chol court lugu form ye ko ke jongule ye ko bor ke jinyu ye ko ga panail chirgo yinyu wan wo die wono ngi wan jonkuru mayol ran United Citizen for Change e monya will ku party den ran luye headed eran e chol dengi da yok ku we ngi dengi da yok eran tungo koy twing eke kone ka mai in national security Junuba Sudan on chi nyane salfa chi etiak monya bet on tiak monya bet yen go gade newspaper jerel ye be nyane ben be atiak monya bet go lo ko dam ku bi Blue House ena chebula bebe on ngoden kan lu national security ena chebula bebe bula loñ emoñ gogrial emoñ kwanya yok eran tuenge kon pioriak akuma kane yengeran tuenge kon mai ko ke make yenga ngeke ding chana wol nka wonek la ko moñnom chan because a chikira chi loy criticize akuma kene nan ki kon we ko we jeng we be mit kun be kanok yengan wan chiman jan lo wan nyu wo ko tene Washington DC ran tungo ko ko keto e deng ma yigatem deng Columbus ai ran ci konto jesh amere je ban ran ci konto wan ror e Ethiopia angi ran e chol deng Columbus e mo intuj ma yadit ci be ben wan ku lel wo nye ran e chol kir ma yadit ci be ben ku merotin wo yi rande ci be ben ran e chol garang kwot ay secretary general akuma Northern Bargazal e monya will malwal boda nyar ati be ben wan kulwel ku bargu wochen wer ko waramet kwon ko ke yi goy joyul e moy noera ngeke e commissioner akopo yi Susan Jambo woti wochen be margo e junubin so achi bi ala lwel e ke kene bor kuranda ne benye bargazal yo je ko nyama ne bargazal ki je ko bargazal yen ko wan to wo sejene na ran ti ne cho deng monya wan ra national security ra là mỗi năm mon to inde officer che ke ter go mỗi năm go lo ko jot bi blue house aboka ci lui brainwash lui akuma da na da wana chan bugo bi hor kana wo blue house ga ngai ke che ke ko nem chin queen bi bai yin chi le pana kim bugo lui use ke spy bay chan be aping jeme wo nim jam chan wo nim jam anytime wo nim jam lel ku akuma kana akuma ji lui fail you will well blue house bi randil pe ngai ka ji lo ga spy be ka chu ka luel be ka jo agot ko je ka le awan dom yin sal ku yin homa tuoj go ku luel ran duong wan cha ka ba cha bay ran kene le ako be le pana kim na chi le pana kim ka beto de ran je be ping tiu ka ni ku ka ba wan ke luel akuma dana wana chan kira kuma ko kana kuma da yung jo be loy chỉ bốc quẹm tù còn chiến chỗ tù in sẽ chèn bốc vua với giọt chèn bê lè thiêu cứ kề quỵt giá đàn giá rẽ hụt cái nào vô nhìn cái điạc bra nó bên nhảy mẹ đàn đến ngoan bốc cái là cao cú mà đã bốc cái giọt tù in sẽ bốc vua để vua bra này cái thiệt cái gì nào vua giềng nó đang coi giảm được cái năng culture cái giềng nôm cái giềng bia ra trên nôm cái giềng follow để nôm cái giềng yên ran tù ku jera nya re hut kena ko nin ke diak yine cham ku go ba toy ra na ci pior lay tengan ni lom ko je to yera lo e jeng we ko be an lek lu ka dam ke chol nom se jeng kene ke follow to ke no ke nom kon ke nom ga ke go kir ma ya de ke twar we ter akuma kan all those nom a ci ke twar we ci naw ci nom be luitin ra na ci be pior be ya tengan ku ka bo wan ge le ya akuma de na wan chan ko baga ngi akuma kana che ker ya wana chan ye go real ye bar gazal ye makir nga che ker as long as bigo wo bilum a jo bi a ker yin nang ngri le chike joyo ma won chi ye rek ma jar jo akri le chike yet ko jo lo be jeng jo la mobilize kuma da jot ko jen ko jo la bay bu ko be a use ke tool ye ne ke cha gam we mon jeng te ben we a loitin ye ne ke cha gam we ko ye bar gazal we ko ye warap bo jo a use we tool bi kir ma ya dit ben ke bay jo a tup je tu berin kun ya ga gam kene ye correct na we ye kin wan rane cho karbino wala gok karbino era ne ci bay kon ci lu yeret cerka da ci loy ko ci koy loy ke ci talata alif shabab a ci ga loy cerka dai talata alif rana ci loy ko loy ke security companies ke ben ten ko koy loy tin de loy a ci a jani bela bay a we mi junub ka ke ga loy a wan ko koy latin gu nyuna chuk lo ku le yong se jene a wan ci jo pioria ku yor we ko lo ku dom is special forces the national security ku bo win away a ko la kur bi ko moynom ku jo koy kwet chan bu gob de be chang jor bu do na wun a gong dit chan bi wun bu gob de go man de bela to chan a ben arab wan a ye loy kana na ci ran chang no ko yin ke gob randun chan bak randun la to yin set bi ko yen bu gob ka bi no bi yen koy ken bi wun ko bi wun be mende bela dur be mende be to bu ra met ken bi ko gob men ken den bi ko wat ko bi ko to karan jot ku choy le ka bu ngwe de dier lu ka bi dier bi ko ngwe moin ton karbino moin ton yen kan moin diar mo ker ke moy agar eran tirem kuk rere ti ke rangel koj rere ti ke rangel wor on na ci bela lum ku le moy hur ke rere unde kena tingde ku mena poj diet le bagi luel kana akuma dana bar gazal ye ni ale ci kena de gam ko na we ku luel ka akuma bar gazal ma jang ma liap ke men ci pi la ben Australia ci logo domwon ku luel wallahi ran kene acin ngeen koy tuwej maj bu moj a ci brana ci be kep ku gudu sonki bran bu to la biya be cin tem we moya gar cer men jeran de pe moya gar so ci bi ala luel na e kul cer kan e joriel ko jela ben ku jeluel akuma da na bar gazal akuma do na bar gazal no ye kere we e ben mana awana chan rin ke a lui ke use bi ke bai tupe lu kan nang ke chol akun international airport loy Nanga kun international airport to no akun international airport. $50 million ra gam. Yung jina loy cake anang na lora kun anang tie chol lil majak. A chena lo ku wet tung di do wet. Ci ben ga awom. E ga yena met bowtin ku die da bowtin, die da peltin, met da bowtin, e ga loy road. Le baga gam ken ko wel ga nang ga cholo kuma dana jeng. Bu we jo I use we tool. Yena ka chaka yo ka yena ka baga loy akuma kirma ya de. Ko baga ta wani. Ko e ke a ko using division. Bu ko take it. Biết giang use bị cái gì bị chặt thôi, chẳng biết giang bro cho ai you, na chia kia mà ai đi cô cô beli gum, yung người cha gum, ya có gum đi, giang kia chỉ là nó cái kia là nghịch lên này cho kia là quét pin mà ai đi, đâu, nghịch, ai liu, diệt, ai dục giang cái đâu, ai dục jure cho gorial cái đâu, ai dục jure cho la wana chan cái đâu, ai diệt có gì. Kuta de ben jal kuna jel mi aka chibutio kana wana chana ben chibutio kana go real ben chibutio kana barga dal ben e yene kir enka bu wet pin dil pin wet pin kun kut lokoy twen ye le be ay yene ran tungu chan bu yo ja tok bani yen ben ko ru yok bi ke di de chol community won ter ngit ko to brai because rana won chu lui fail rana won chin ke be loinom ye na nya le na we baga ya gam kulel wo jure chole ku ka kumada akuma dunje welwengo yongu jo loe we ga men yen ki mana tong a werap mana e mach ka daptin agwok aram kene kwaj apuk aram kene koy marialo wow twin mayadit aram kene koy ga biay yana kuma dun yen bi jo julel ka kumada ran kine ran jo fail wodye whether ye ran nuer ye moin dor ye moin tino ran kana ju fail wadia ku ke ba ya ji yok panda wadia pan chu ku toro rim ko wadia ti ran kin to chen bi jun Sudan be ben be ye ran Upper Nile ye ran Bargazal ye ran Equatoria ka to chen go jun Sudan go ben ke ye dollar le be jo agame ku le ke ran cho kir ma ya di den be ba ju cho gum bu ba ju rir to we bu ba ju rir ke pan chi chit kan ye na we ke aki ya lwel ga kuma da ki biara jikira tak chen ran Bargazal ran Bargazal tino ran chong amon ku wen maka luya tak bai mai man den kiri ken ki chi luya tak di chong ai ene mo nya ulien bi chong amon payat ka chu gam bai mai ya ye bai jo mai ya ke pa na ko rin ga ko bring ga ko riop ma ko da bedung mi ti ka dia da bedung bi ga dung ga ngu yong bi a legacy den awe ke kir ma yadi ke bedungo ke ater ke kir ma yadi ke bedungo ke ya ka gam ke ne ye korak na we ka be korora la mobilize kule kadang randa na Bargazal ye ya jama we are being finished by a regime that doesn't care about us. So it is very important that we understand this is not a government of Kir. I mean, this is not a government of Dinka. It's not a government of Bargazal. It's not a government of Warap or government of Wanachan. It's a government of few crooked individuals. Anang we jito andi de keo, it's all tut keo ye monya wan. Ya ke jo tingi ji jo lunya ji chera ngon ye dik tur jo le ko. We ga ya re ba lui ko samaru. Ai mo rem di ji jo kwet, ji jo bai cham. Ji jo kwet, a ba den ku ji jo cham ka yan de ji jo tiang. Ku ko brojo chalao. Cái gì mòn giang to cái gì yo ku yo le ajiri pa ben bu ko yo pen bi yo brojo chala yo la yene yi kene na we ya jama that cannot be. We have to wake up. This regime is trying to use us, and they're using us for corruption. They're not using us for something that is beneficial to this country. There is nothing this regime is doing that is good for the people of South Sudan. Our resources, as you know very well, have been sold in advance. Oil has been sold in advance. Water, sold to Egypt. Gold and diamond, sold. Everything, sold. Even land is being sold. Look at all the businesses in Juba. Who own them? Do you see any of your fellow citizens owning any proper business? We have now imaginary businessmen. Those are Bolomel. These are imaginary businessmen that are only using corruption. But just go around the shops. Who is owning these shops? Darfurians. Who's owning the hotel? Ethiopian. Even the water from the Nile is being sold to you by Ethiopian and Eritrean. Where are the citizens of South Sudan? Who is empowering them? Ya Jama, who is empowering the people of South Sudan? But don't you think this country is for us to flourish in it? How are we going to flourish when we have leadership that only think about using us as tools? Leadership that want to kill us. Leadership that has no mercy on the people of South Sudan. We have to unite. We have to unite as citizens of South Sudan. We have to understand that this regime is not for us. It's not there to protect our interests. It doesn't care about our children. It doesn't care about anything. It's a regime that is only interested in remaining in power, power that they use to kill the people of South Sudan, turn them against each other, power that they use to loot the resources of South Sudan. So, my brothers and sisters, let us forget about tribalism. Let us forget about regionalism. Let us forget about clanism. Let us embrace our nation. When we created this country called Republic of South Sudan, we were embarking on experiment. We had our clans, right? Everyone was in their own clans. We had our tribes, they were there. But we want something bigger, something that is more fulfilling, something that is greater than our clan, than our tribes, than our regions. And that is why we dream to create a new country, Republic of South Sudan. Let us give South Sudan a chance so that it can really be a nation. And this nation cannot be built on division. It has to be built on principle. It has to be built on unity. It has to be built on love. It has to be built on values, values that are really meaningful. We have to be able to invest in our people. We have to change the life of our people for the better, provide education for our children, provide health care, create jobs, build a strong economy, create infrastructure so that our people can move. If you want to move to other part of the country, you can move and you can get to understand them. That is it. That is the country we are dreaming. And I want each and every one of you to be part of this journey. Stop allowing yourself to be used as a tool of division. Begin embracing the nation of South Sudan. Embrace your fellow brothers, your fellow sisters in South Sudan, and come together as one united group. Look at what is happening in our region. All these countries are growing exponentially. Ethiopia now is a country of 120 million people. Kenya has over 50 million people. Uganda, tiny Uganda, have over 50 million people. And we are there busy finishing ourselves, allowing the failed leadership of Salva Kiir to divide us and to kill us. What do you think is going to happen to our land? Our land will be taken. It will be taken by all these foreigners. They are already doing it. Look at what is happening with the border with Kenya. Look at what is happening with the border with Uganda. Look at what is happening with the border with Sudan. They see us busy destroying ourselves and they're encroaching in our territory, taking it. And you never seen a single day that the leadership has mobilized our army to go and defend our borders. But they always mobilize the army when they hear that there is a fake coup, when there is like an issue that is happening with Pachala, they send the helicopters to go and kill the fellow citizen. When they see that there is something that is happening in Nuer land, they send helicopters to go and kill our fellow citizen. Helicopters that they never use to protect the borders of South Sudan. This regime is the regime you want to protect? This is the regime that you want to tie your legacy? What is going to happen tomorrow when you are gone? Will your children be proud of that legacy? Do you find now people in South Africa who are proud of apartheid? No. Everyone is pretending as if they were not there during apartheid. And that is exactly what is going to happen to these so-called apologists of this regime. So my people, it's time that we unite. It's time we come together. We shun tribalism. We shun division. Bu way mat ku way tok. Bu way mat ache just ku way jeng. Bu way mat ku way junubin. Bu ke chol junub bu yen fursa. Ma jeng ata wonte. Na ye ki fa na wo magadi chin ko junub. But wo kor kiril wer jeng ku ko wiril wer jeng gene yengo e junuba Sudan. Enke kiril. Bu way mat bu ya dola win bedil ping ping nam de ke dola relate. Che dola be jwa chol gele lo embarrass. Bo jwa lo embarrass every time. Chi benchelo anywhere ko aje rere ke dier embarrassment bela ben. ye pan chene ko diet ko ril chirika ke ye be bai be jo mai pan chirikan ye na we ye alwel ka akuma dun je wal wengo nang yung lui we. So ya jama, let us come together, let us unite and make sure that this country is united and that this country can deliver for the people of South Sudan. I warn you, my people, to share the video. Whether you agree with us, you disagree with us, share the video. Write your comments. If you think what we are doing is not correct, write it. We want you to be free so that you have your freedom to talk, freedom to express yourself, freedom to engage with your fellow citizen. Whether you are a matograp, you are a bootlegger, whether you are a psychopath, or whether you are a true liberated person, true citizen of the Republic of South Sudan, share the video and make sure that our people are informed. We have to create awareness and change our mindset so that we are no longer used as tools, but we become the true custodians of this land. God created this land and he put us in it so that we can be custodian of everything that is in this land, the Republic of South Sudan. That is the duty, and it's a duty that we must shoulder with responsibility, with wisdom, and with intellect. And we have the ability to turn South Sudan to the best country in the world. And I invite you, the young people of South Sudan, join us on this journey to make South Sudan great again. May God Almighty bless you. Please share the video, make your comment, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Now let's get away.